Shut up and sit down.
All right, Lee. Welcome onto the podcast. You may have seen Lee on your meme pages, your For You page, and your YouTube sub box, but now he's here on the ShareSquare pod. How you doing, Lee?
I'm good, thank you, Theo. All good. Thanks for having us on. Looking forward to it,
No worries. So, do you want to start off just doing like a little introduction for the audience about yourself?
Yeah. What do you want to know?
It's like what you do, what you're known for.
Well, what obviously I think I'm known for now is like the AFTV stuff and everything like that, and being on YouTube and whatever. But obviously, it didn't start off with that for me. I got my own dry cleaning business, very humble beginning in life. Just me and my brother, from my mum and dad. I was born in Wimbledon, not far from the tennis courts.
Mm-hmm.
So, but we moved, as you can see by the accent, so because I'm not posh. And then, that was it. I got into football when I was a kid, played at a good level, semi-pro, professional. And then, my love for Arsenal was obviously massive. And started going to Arsenal, and then obviously years and years of going there. And then, hold on a minute, just decline that. Can you still see me?
Yeah, you're still there. Don't worry.
Yeah. And then, so started going to the Arsenal, and of course then this AFTV thing come along, and I just went on it one time, and boom, it went from there, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So we'll get on to the AFTV stuff a bit later. So I just wanted to start off asking you, what was your kind of early life like? And we're going to rewind a few years and ask you about what were you like in school?
Oh, God, going back to the old school days. Yeah, I was like, do you know what? I struggled through school. I look back on it now, and, even my football and physically I struggled, because I'm born in the end of August 28th. So, virtually a year older or a year younger than everybody else, because the news time starts in September. So physically, I was a year behind a lot of people, do you know what I mean? And, physically and mentally as well. So I struggled in every aspect of schooling, really, from football. So when I played football, when I went to play, I'm not going to say the club, but went to a professional club, and youth and everything, county and all that, I could play a year below. Do you see what I'm saying? I was born in August, so I was a lot better. But when I was playing for my school team and everything like that, I had to play a year above. So I found it very, very difficult. So I was in the school team, but I played in the district side, but I couldn't get into the county side because I wasn't physically strong enough and whatever. And I didn't develop for a couple of years from that. So I found that very, very hard, So I used to mess about a little bit to try and default all those things, cover up those sort of insecurities, I suppose.
Right, okay.
So I enjoyed school. I've got to say, it was a good time. Played a lot of cricket. Then I was all right at cricket because I weren't the physical side of cricket, wasn't there. Introduced to rugby. God, that was a tough old game, the old rugby.
Yeah.
Good school. Turnford School. It's not actually called Turnford School no more. But it was a good school. It was a good school for sport and things like that. And still see a few schoolmates about and everything like that. But school was tough.
Would you say that you definitely? It sounds like you gravitated a lot more to the sporting side of school than the academic side of school.
100%. I was fortunate that when I was younger. See, this is a thing you can go on to. When you was like my kid going through now, you've got these coaches and things like that. Didn't have none of that when we was young. When we was going to school, you'd go and play football, get into a local team, and if you was any good, you'd get onto the coaches. So I was very fortunate. I was a pretty good player that I got the coaching at a very, very young age. So when I got to junior school and senior school, I was pretty developed as a footballer with my brain and all that, but physically couldn't do it. But yeah, loved all those sort of things. You know, I was in the Rounders team, you know what I mean? Like you got in the rounds of a cricket team. I was always involved with that. The swimming, so I wasn't absolutely brilliant. We had a swimming pool at our school at the time. Wasn't brilliant at swimming, but okay. Mm-hmm. You know, got in a few galas and things like that, but nothing. But really enjoyed the sporting side. When it comes to like academically, I had to really work really hard, you know. Yeah. And I'm not being horrible. As a 13, 14, 15-year-old kid, your concentrations, spasms, whatever you want to say, like timescales, I've struggled with, you know. So,
yeah,
you know,
can
like,
go askew.
I had a mate at school, I don't know, you probably had a mate as well. I had a mate at school that could mess about and do everything that I'd done, but then it comes to the exam, he was bosh. He was like, he didn't have to work at it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, he could get everything like that. And I'm thinking, and to this day, and it's held me back in when I later in life doing fractions and things like that. And man, I just could not get my head around fractions. Couldn't do it. Still can't do it. But my mate messing about at school, coming in, and he just get it straight away. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's in a you know, went into a high-powered job and everything like that. So I found that very, very difficult, very, very difficult. And, of course, when you've got a school or a class of 30 kids, you know, it's tough, you know what I mean? So, and you had to hold your own a little bit. Like, I lied about my age. I know it's a silly sort of thing because I was the young. So when I went to the first year at school, yeah, you know, I can remember the day, like it's like this massive school. I'm sitting there, and someone turned around to me and said, "You know, you realise you are the youngest kid in this school,
right?
The whole school, you're the youngest kid in there." Mm. And so I thought, well, I can't have that. So, you know, I lied about my age, and I think I made myself like April the 28th was my birthday, like, do you know what I mean? Which is ridiculous when I think about it. But at that time, you know, I didn't want to be known as the youngest. Now, it's great when they're all having their birthdays. They're saying, "So no, I'm still like, you know, a year younger." No, you're not. Yes, I am. You know what I mean? So it's worked out good for me now. But at the back in the day, you know, it was a big thing, and so you had to. Like school's a lot different now to what it was. We used to have the cane when we was at school and things like that. You messed about, you knew, there was a line and you didn't go over it, like, you know, and. But it was a good but tough experience. But education-wise, found it tough. I worked hard and blagged me away for it.
Do you ever get into a lot of trouble at school? Do you ever get the cane?
I never got the cane.
You never got it?
The cane.
You escaped the cane.
Two stories about the cane. One of them, they was all like in the first year, all bunking off school, and like a lesson. It happened to be games, and I said, I ain't going to bunk off games, you know what I mean? And they all bunked off, about five or six of my mates bunked off games, and they got caught and they got the cane, and so I got away with that one. And the best one was, and funny enough, I see Stephen for the first time in years a little while ago. But we had these new stalls. And they was like, you know, all right. So they was all putting their names on the stalls and things like that. So I went to put my name, engrave my name on the stall. My mate Stephen went, don't do that.
Yeah.
He went, we just put 1 star and 2 stars, so we know that is ours.
Yeah.
Right. So I said, that's a great idea, like, you know what I mean? So he put 1 star, I put 2 stars, and that was their chair. But of course, everybody else would put their names on it, like, you know. Theo, whatever, like, you know, Theo Conway, they put on it like, blah, 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 and done it. Well, of course, they've all, you know, the ones that got their names on that, whacked up for the cane. You know what I mean? Coming back, we're sitting in the lesson, like, coming back, kids with tears in their eyes, you know what I mean? They got the cane. So the old teacher pulls in me and Stephen Alman's his name. He's a fire chief now, a really good job he's got and everything like that. Pulled us in, and they said, like, You've got those 2 there, you know, like the start. No, nothing to do.
What? Didn't know anything about that.
No, nothing about that. You know what I mean? Like, we've not done that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they couldn't prove it. And so I dodged a cane for that. And I said, Stephen, a little while ago, and seen him for years, I said, you know, stop me from getting the cane, because I would have actually put my name on that and would have got the whack. But I didn't. So, so that's the story there. So, like, one thing in life, you know, be clever. If you can't be clever, get clever mates.
Yeah. It's not about what you know, who you know.
It's exactly like, you know. Exactly.
Yeah. So would you say you were like a bit of a class clown, or were you more just, like I said before, just leaning into the sports sides of things to like hold your own and stuff?
Listen, my dad, you know, passed away now, but like when he was younger, he was a comedian on stage and things like that, and he'd done some big gigs, and you know, you'd go as a kid. We actually go on holidays, and he'd win holidays for us and things like that. Really? Weekends away for the family, and you know, I'd go to somebody's show, take some of my mates. Used to do, and so I got a little bit of my comedy stuff from him, like, you know what I mean? So, but I used to muck about a lot of school, have a laugh and joke, but nothing untoward, nothing nasty or whatever, like, you know. And people would just go, oh, like, you know, he's a nice guy, a bit of a laugh and all that, like, you know. But I think that because I was at school, and that what we said a little bit earlier, I was always a little bit shy. Not shy. Hard to say shy, because people that know me, it's going, you weren't shy and all that. But I was a little bit wary of the pecking order where I was, if you know what I mean. So you know, when it comes to say like having a tear up or a fight, you know, at school, they was always a little bit bigger than me, and I know it sounds silly and all that, but there was so I used to, if someone wanted to have a fight with me, I used to talk my way out of it a little bit. Like, I can handle myself, but like I wasn't looking to get in fights and be the main guy. And in fact, there was a fella at school who wasn't hard, you know, boxer and done everything like that. Unfortunately, he's passed away now, but he used to say to me, and I've got on well with him, do you know what I mean? Like, and that was the sort of guy I was. And you know what I mean? I see him and go, oh, you're all right, like, you know, but you want to get away from him quickly, because he was a bit of a wild man. Yeah, a bit of a wild one, like, yeah. But I got on well with him. We played in the same football team or whatever. And one day he sat down and he said to me, you know, I said, I wish I could handle myself like you. And he went, Lee, it's not the greatest thing in the world. Everybody wants to fight you. Everybody wants to try and take you down. And I took that on board, even at an early age, and said, yeah, do you know what I mean? As much as I wanted to be a good fighter and the best at all that, like, maybe it wasn't a great thing to be like, you know what I mean? Just make sure you look after yourself, but not be at the top, do you know what I mean? To be shot at, like, you know? Yeah. So I think I've been happy with that going through life, really. Yeah.
I mean, learning that from a young age is pretty important. I feel like what you just said is basically just a stamp of maturity, isn't it, really? That it's best to try and avoid that kind of stuff, you know, in most situations.
And I'll tell you what, now, any youngsters listening to that, do that. You know what I mean? Like, because nowadays it's you know, there ain't no second chances. No. If you have a fight and you can beat somebody up or whatever, like, yeah, you're a hero for an hour, but then you got the police knocking on your door and you're going to do time and you're going to ruin your life.
Yeah, and,
you know,
especially sad these days, like, you know, with the kind of gang stuff going on in London. Yeah, it's like,
exactly.
You know,
knives are about and everything like that. Honestly, the best. Do you know what it takes a man? It takes more of a man to walk away. I tell you that now, and I believe me, that is true. You know what I mean? I've gotten myself into scrapes before and got myself in a little bit of trouble, but ultimately, where I was in my life is completely different to where you are now. Like, you know, listen, you youngsters and everything out there now, the world's opened up. There's so many more opportunities than what there was when I was younger, and don't mess it up by getting yourself a criminal record or something like that over a fight, or someone having a go at you on social media and I'm going to go around his house and all that sort of rubbish. Because at the end of the day,
it's not worth it.
It's not worth it, you know. Exactly.
Was there any kind of particular moment in your life, like early on, which was what made you realize this, like kind of what made you realize actually, you know, having this scrap or avoiding this scrap was a better option, you know, something that changed your perspective on it?
Yeah, I'll tell you what it was. It cost me a little bit. I got into a fight playing football. Fella hit me on the football field, got away with it, and was being a bit cocky after the game. And I decided to, you know, take my revenge, and I did. And I went overboard. Yeah. And I actually got 3-month ban from football.
Right. Okay. Was it on the pitch or afterwards?
This was afterwards. Even though, you're thinking like, you're going to get away with that to go up to the FA. It was Lancaster Gate. It wasn't all that night. But yeah, I was playing semi-pro at the time. I was doing well. But 3 months of football. But got prosecuted as well, like, or he tried to. But I got away with that. But and it was luckily I got away with it. I got away with it. I was lucky.
Yeah.
But it did make me think what could have been and what couldn't have been. And I still had to miss 3 months of football. Now, you think about 3 months of football, being injured or something like that's a big thing. But it was 3 months of football that I had to miss out. I was on a contract at the time, and the club continued to pay me, which was good. But, it did teach me a lesson. And I was quite young at the time and all that night. And it weren't... it wasn't me, you know what I mean? Like, if I look back on it now, that it wasn't, egotistic or whatever, like, because he'd got one over me on the football field. I don't know, you know what I mean? But I look back on it and, I'm not proud of that moment. I'm not proud of it, like,
No, but I mean, it's these kind of moments that, like I said, it's kind of what molds your new thinking. It's part of your kind of character development, isn't it? So, yeah, I mean, 3 months is quite a long time to be out. So is it like in that kind of reflection period when you're kind of out of football? It's almost like a pseudo prison sentence in a way, what I mean?
Listen, taking away your football is a good thing. But not only that, you've got to build up. You get I had a little reputation then of probably being an hard man, which I wasn't. So, you're coming back from, like, people know that you've got 3 months, whatever you've done and whatever. So it wasn't a good thing, but it took my football away from me, which was difficult, and then, you've got to get all that fitness back. You've got to work your way back into the team. I think if I remember rightly, it was like, I can't remember. It was probably January, February, March. So I come back in about April, not as, like towards the back end of next season. But what I'd done then was I remember saying, right, this summer I'm going to get myself really, really fit, make sure, and be ready for that next season, which I did, and got myself back playing and playing regular. But yeah, it was a tough thing. It was a tough thing, like not playing. And come Saturday, you want to play. That's when I started going football, a little bit more, going to games and things like that, like going over the Arsenal a little bit more, because you just wanted to get to get paid for White. I still had to train Tuesday and Thursday. So if I didn't have a game, I'd still have to go and train. For instance, not punishing me or nothing like that. It was part of it, so you'd train with the team, and then come match day, you weren't involved, so it was difficult. So then I'd found it very difficult watching games of football, with my own team. So I'd jump off to go and watch the Arsenal or something like that, you know what I mean? But if we was at home, I did watch a few games. But yeah, it was a big punishment and a lot of games, because don't forget, it's not just like Saturdays. I was missing out on midweek games as well, cup games and things like that. So I think it was a tough time.
It's safe to say then that, like, your involvement in football, not just like on the pitch but off the pitch watching it, has kind of been significant, moulding you into who you are and your kind of moral framework as even.
Football has been a blessing in my life. I look back and I've got good friends out of it. It's made me not a racist, because I've met players in going when I was at school. There was no black people in our school, you know what I mean? But then when you went and played football, you'd meet black players and things like that. So you never had that feeling of racism because of that. So that was a great thing. Also with football, it stopped me going on the streets, stopped me, doing drugs, kept me fit, giving a good social life, which I've still got now from it there. So always great things. doesn't have to be football. Could be rugby, could be cricket, whatever, like, you know what I mean? But ultimately, that's where it done. And it was an interest of, like, keeping myself fit, keeping myself healthy, you know, like, and there was one time I got injured. I remember getting injured, done my ankle in. I just could not, for whatever reason, like, get it right for some unknown reason. You know, physio said I'll be back within about a month. 3 months later, I wasn't. And you know, I got a bit big, you know what I mean? Like, believe it or not, like, went up to 15 stone. So you have to then come back and get all that off, like, you know what I mean? So, which I did. But that, you know, football, like, gives you a good ground. I think a good grounding of life. And you know, I encourage all the youngsters to keep doing it, because one thing, it gives you an individual in a team sport. So you ain't got, you're not just thinking of yourself. You've got to think of your teammates. If you're going to go and do something stupid and let them down, you know what I mean? So you're in it as a team. I think team thing and bonding is great. And the social life to footballing, whatever, like, is great. You'll have it with your mates as well. Like, you know, when you go out on a drinking session or whatever, like, don't have to be drink, but you can go, like, doing other things. Yeah. You've got that friendship, you know what I mean? And friendships like that stay forever, like, you know, so that's where it's been really, really good.
Well, I couldn't agree more with that, because I'm not very good at football. Tennis was always my sport. I was, like, very good tennis player. I also did, like, fencing when I was younger, and was I was pretty good at that. I came I was like, to be conservative, I think it was like top 15 in the British Youth Championships when I was in two sorts. But at uni, I'm playing football, and we play for our college, which is Constantine, and that's like the name of the college. They do it wherever you, whichever first year accommodation you're in, that's like your college. And all my best, like, social experiences, all, like, my best mates and best nights out at uni have all been through that. So, you know, the same definitely remains to be true now. So what would you say is, like, your greatest memory from when you were, like, playing football? Like, either a funny story or something where it's, like, you know, something you always look back on and you think, oh, that was great.
Well, I think, like, there was some great, like, listen, I was very, very fortunate. Went to America and played in America, and I played in like, a big, like, tournament in Knoxville, Tennessee, and that was, you know, as a kid of 13, 14, doing that was fantastic. It always, like, you know, playing football. You know, when you got picked to play for the district was a big, big thing. Then go and play for the county, and then you get, like, you get so many games, you get a tie, and then so many times you get a cap. They were all great things growing up as a kid, playing on, like, these top pitches, which you never, you know, you watch them, and I think that's one of the greatest things. You know, you play on the pitch where you know, you'd gone on the terraces and things like that, like, you know. Then obviously, like, to be picked up by a professional club when they say, oh, you know, we want you to come over, and that's a great thing, great feeling of going over there and doing that. And I was fortunate enough to do it with my boy as well. My boy was at West Ham for a little while, so and Southend. So that was, so you have that experience of it all, the bonding of playing football and things like that. So they're always great things. But, you know, like, just having a, you know, like, going playing in the FA Cup back in the non-league days, one of the best things that I've ever had experienced is we played Kettering in the FA Cup, and there was about 1,300, I suppose, 1,400 fans there, and I handballed on the line. It was accidental, but it was handballed on the line, and to have 1,500.
You didn't Suarez it, did you?
Yeah, 1,500 going off, like, you know what I mean? And I'll never forget, like, the referee said, oh, no, you didn't do that deliberately, and he pulled out the yellow card, and the whole crowd went, ooh, like that, too, like, you know? And I got fined, I think it was £8 or £10 for the booking. It's the best fine, best £10 I've ever, like, paid, you know what I mean? It was worth the experience of all them having a go, like, you know what I mean? So, So that was like a good memory. Like another one which was funny was I was playing. I can't remember the team who was playing there, but they were about that when we warmed up for the game. There was no one in there. Gone back in the dressing room, come back out. There must be 400 behind this crowd, like, behind the goal, and I don't know why it is, but they always seem to pick on one player during the game. You know what I mean? Like, it's probably that, and now, it happens to be me. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
how old were you at the time?
How old was I? 25, 26. I don't know. I could have even been a bit older. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. They've just said, right, we're going to pick on the number 10. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
every time I got the ball, giving me 6. So, And I thought, right, well, I got the ball in a good position. The ball come across the box, and I thought, right, I'll show you lots. You know what I mean? And I'm going to smash this into the back of the net, and I'm going to go and give it to them. Like, as it's come across, I've hit it well. It's hit the Rose Z, isn't it? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
hit it too well.
And the whole crowd went, what the effing hell was that? You know what I mean? Like, and you know what I mean? You just got to get on with it, like, you know what I mean? And, so, like, good memories, things like that. Like,
So you enjoyed the kind of, like, football shithousery coming from, like, the other teams. You loved it.
I loved it. I had, I'll tell you what, another little story. Played a game over in the it was in Essex somewhere. It was an FA Cup game. And there weren't that many fans, but there was about 10 or 15, and they were giving it. Again, picking on me, giving it like so. The ball was going off for I could make a tackle, like, and I could just knock it off. Quite comfortably, but I thought, no, I'm drilling this right at them, like, do you know what I mean? So I smacked this ball as hard as I can towards them. They've got out of the way. Whoa, wait till we see you after the game. Giving me all that. So as I've gone into the dressing room and that, come out, the bar was upstairs to go into the bar. Like the coach is outside. So I put my gear on the coach, come back in, upset, and there they are. About 4 of them standing at half.
They weren't lying.
Standing at 7. So I've looked around, there's no one around. Like, oh my God, I'm going to get it here, like, And as I walked up, they've gone, oh, you, 7. Fantastic game. Look, we go, and they went, we do it every time to someone, and afterwards we buy them a beer in the bar, like, you know what I mean? Come there, like, So I've gone into the bar with all the fans or whatever, and they bought me a beer and we're having a laugh, and they were fantastic. Like, and they got on the phone, like, I think of my girlfriend at the time, and said, "Oh, your boyfriend, he's a brilliant player," blah 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 blah. And they was a little banter, and then I went back in there. So I thought I was going to have a bit of trouble and all that, but they was as good as gold, like, So
all's fair in love and war.
All's fair in love and football, like.
So outside of football, whether that be back in the day or now, what kind of other interests do you have?
I love my cricket. I love a big Yorkshire fan. You know what I mean? You coming from like your education in York, so you'll know about Yorkshire. So Yorkshire. Followed that through Jeff Boycott when I was a kid. He was my idol, like, and so I used to watch him, and like when you had like school holidays and that, when cricket was on, if Jeff Boycott was in, I used to sit and watch it. Boring as I was, I'd sit in there, watch football, watch Jeff Boycott, and then as soon as he was out, I'd go out and play with my mates and things like that. Love me tennis, Wimbledon, and that. Golf, I'm into a bit of golf. I've got more into golf as I got older.
Yeah, what's your handicap saying?
Oh, I'm like a novice.
Sky high.
Like
sky high. Yeah.
Like, and it will always stay sky high. So, so I've only just really got in the last, since I've stopped playing football, really, and everything like that, I've started to get in go. So I'm a late developer in that. But I've always, when people go, the football season, what I've got to do in the fall. So I love the summer because you've got your cricket, you've got your tennis and all that. So all sorts of sports I enjoy.
Yeah.
Trying to get away from, even now, like away from football, trying to, go to concerts or cinema or theatre or something like that. I do enjoy all that sort of stuff. So I've got lots of things going on in my life, but you know, sport is mainly the one, like, you know. So you know, like we're about 4 or 5 of us now that are messaging me as we're saying, like, as we're talking, like, going to just go and have a little pitch and putt tonight, like, you know, and we'll have a little bit of competition about it. It's just all fun, like, you know. So it's not all fun.
That's good. Yeah, I mean, I'm a big fan of the golf. I started in 2019 and really picked it up during the lockdown. You know, when like you were allowed to go play golf, but you weren't really allowed to do anything else. So
anything else, that's it.
Me and the boys got like the membership at the local club, and we literally have been going like every single day. But I'm still terrible. Like I'm so bad. I think
it's a frustrating game. I'll tell you what. I'll tell you this. You know, if you put your ball in the bush, you can always find another ball, but not your own ball. It's a weird thing. I mean, if you're looking for your ball, you find about 8 balls, but it ain't your one, you know. So it's a frustrating game, very frustrating, but enjoyable, like, you know, very enjoyable.
Yeah, we're next to the River Mersey, and like people are always walking their dogs down the river. So like, you know, when it does slice off in that direction, you gotta give him a big call and then run away afterwards. But yeah. Your best pal, Harry Kane, he loves his golf as well. Would you do a round with Harry Kane?
I would. You know, there's a story about that. We was in before he was famous with Tottenham. He only just got into the team because my brother's a big Spurs fan.
All right, okay.
We were playing top golf, and he was having lessons there, like, you know. And like, my brother's going, "Oh, that's Harry Kane over there," like, you know. So, would I have a round with Harry Kane? Listen, he's as far as I know, he's a top guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, you know, listen, I've got lots of close connections with Spurs. You know, so one of my best mates' son is Ryan Mason, who used to play for Spurs. He was manager of Spurs last year. I've gone and watched Ryan play for Spurs on many occasions. He's very, very good friends with Harry Kane. I get a lot of stick from you know, Harry's a nice guy, you know what I mean? So I'm pretty sure that he is, but he ain't a nice guy when he's banging in goals against Arsenal.
No.
You know? So that's where it comes from, like, you know. It's not personal, of course. It's not, like,
no.
But he's a good golfer, so no, I wouldn't want him to have. He'd beat me, you know what I mean? So I'm not having that, you know.
Yeah, you can't have him scoring goals against you and out driving you as well. That would be terrible.
Yeah. He's done it again. Harry Kane beat me at golf, you know what I mean? So no. So I would never round with him at all. Like, you know?
Yeah. Okay. Oh, that's funny. So yeah, in terms of, like you said, you know, you go to your concerts and stuff. What kind of music do you listen to?
Oh, U2 was a big thing for me. U2, like, you know, Madonna. I actually spoke to Madonna. You know,
have you?
Like, you know, right? So, like, you know, that's my claim to fame. That is my big claim to fame.
Yeah. When did you speak to Madonna?
Like, you know, I mean, what happened there was my mate was Dan Stewart. Like, he said, like, he was like something to do with stewards and got us into. So when all these concerts come around, we would go there as a steward and just go and watch the concerts, and whoever it was, Whitney Houston, Michael Jackson, done that one, done that, and one at Madonna was at Wembley, and where I was just lucky, just standing at the front, and she was doing her you know, like rehearsal thing, like, you know what I mean, and she's on the mic singing away, like, and I'm just standing there minding my own business, and then she stopped me. She said, "Excuse me." So I was looking around, who's she talking to? Like, she goes, so I said, hi. So she said, in England, what I've got to do this bit of the song where you go, "Don't be silly, put a rubber or a condom on your willy." What should I actually? What in English? What should I say? I actually said, I would say condom. Really, rubber's not the sort of thing, you know what I mean? Going back, it's quite, this is the 90s, probably back. So I said, you know, like, condom is the word to say, like, you know? So she said, "Oh, thank you." So when she done her, the actual thing in the concert, she actually says, "Don't be silly, put a condom." I'm going, yeah, that's down.
You're like, that's my writing. I'll have a percentage, please.
I told her to say that, you know. So yeah, so that's my big claim to fame, that I actually spoken to Madonna.
You've written a Madonna song, basically. You're a co-writer.
A Madonna song. I'm co-writer. Like, you know, we co-write. back in the 90s, we co-write. Yeah, so that was unbelievable.
Well, officially speaking, that's how it works.
Loads of concerts.
Yeah,
that's how it goes. So that's how I've done it. That was a lot of concerts. So if there was someone really good on, I'd say like Michael Jackson and Bad. I think it was a Bad Tour. I can't even think what tour it was called.
I think it was the Bad Tour. Yeah.
Yeah, we you know, he said, right, do you want to go, like, you know what I mean? So yeah. So we'd rock up as stewards and we'd go in, you know, escort a few people to their seats, you know what I mean, like, and that was it. The worst one was Bobby Brown. I'd done a Bobby Brown one, like, you know, and we had to. All the kids kept bleeding, jumping up on the seats, and they're not allowed to jump up. It was like hectic. You go to a proper concert. And people are just sitting there, but like the kids ones, they would jump. Well, I said, I ain't doing none more.
Not getting involved in the mosh pits.
Carly Minogue and Jason Donovan, I don't want nothing to do with them. Like,
So, would you say, like, outside of the kind of sports, maybe more into the music or like TV and movie stuff, do you have like any sort of guilty pleasures that, like, you know, you watch, but you watch it on the sly, or you listen to and you don't let on the, you know, you listen to it?
Listen, I love a bit of the old cheesy music. I ain't gonna lie. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? I do that, but I don't. No, there's, you know, like there's a few people.
Bit of Amarillo.
I've never been really like, you know, a few people are into Love Island and all that. Like, I can't get into things like that. I did have a little watch of Big Brother when it was about, you know what I mean, and probably didn't say too much about it, like, you know, but I wouldn't say anything like that.
No,
you know, I'm not into the soaps or anything like that. Bit of cheesy music. I don't think there's nothing wrong with a bit of cheesy music, by the way.
No,
like,
well, I think we all love a bit of cheesy music, don't we?
Yeah. So that would be it. Like, but
once you've had a few drinks, it's the best time for it.
Yeah, why not? Like, you know what I mean? Why not? Why not?
So you said you're not watching this season of Love Island, are you? You're not even had a little dabble. Have you tried?
No, I've not ever did. I'll tell a little story there, because Jack Fowler, who was in Love Island, has done a few watch-alongs for the Arsenal. It's big Arsenal.
Oh yeah, of course.
You know, yeah. So he's come in the studio the first time, and you know, everyone's a little bit of awe on him. And I've gone, "Hello, mate, how's your?" I don't know.
No clue who he is.
Oh, in Love Island. Like, I don't watch Love Island.
Yeah.
But really, really nice guy. Get on really well. But yeah, so I you know. It weren't like, oh, hello, Jack, how are you doing? All right.
Yeah, you weren't fangirling over Jack Fowler.
I confess that I didn't watch Love Island, but there you go. Like, so
he probably enjoyed that, because he probably, everywhere he goes, he probably gets fangirled over.
Yeah, no, I mean, so, and I don't like him because he's been on Love Island, because I haven't a clue what he did, like, you know what I mean? One of my mates, Dino, was on IB for Weekender or something he does. Well, he was on that. And, you know, I ain't got a clue. I never watched it, you know what I mean? But he's still a good mate of mine, you know, so.
Yeah, well, a lot of people say Jack Fowler's a nice lad, and, you know, he seems to get along with all you lot on the streams.
Jack is a nice lad. I will say this about a little secret about our Jack. You know what I mean? Like, the temperature in the studio wasn't that cold, and he's you know, there are a few girls there, and he says, "Oh, it's hot in here," and he always has to take his shirt off, you know what I mean? Go in his body, like, you know what I mean?
Any excuse.
Leave it out.
Yeah.
Leave it. And I'll tell you what, he's got a body and a half, you know what I mean? Like, you can see the girls looking as he takes his shirt off. Like,
they're loving it.
Shows his six-pack, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so,
you would be too humble to take yours off and show him up, wouldn't you, Lee?
So, yeah, that's what I say to him. So I'm not as flash as you, Jack, you know what I mean? Like,
Wouldn't want to embarrass him. That's your claim to fame, not mine, you know.
I wouldn't show you. I've said I've had a six-pack, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't worry about it, like, you know what I mean?
Oh, that's funny. So, on like the Love Island chat, what would you say like your kind of type on paper is? The classic Love Island question for a girl.
What do you mean?
So your type on paper is kind of like, what is like the type of girl that you would go for? So people say like, you know, dark hair or blonde hair, blue eyes, and all that kind of stuff, like arse, tits, all the rest of it.
You gotta go. It's got to be off like blonde, I would say. You know what I mean? Like, always got. I'm not really fussed about the tits. If I'll be honest, she's got to have a nice bum.
Yeah, you know, that's essential.
I think that is essential. You know what I mean? Like, not be flat chested. It's got to have a little bit there up top. You know what I mean? It's a bit like, playing football. You've got to have someone good pair up top.
She's got to be able to bring it down like Fellaini.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly right. Like, you know what I mean? It's no good having a De Bruyne back there and nothing up. You've got to have a Aguero up front, don't you? Like, you know what I mean? So she's got to have a little bit up there, but. But you know what? The older you get, and I seriously mean this because I've made my mistakes by going for just the looks. You know what I mean? Like, so you've got to have personality, something that because you can only make love. You know what I mean? For 20 hours a day, you've got to have those 4 hours where you've got to have other things. You know what I mean? Like, that's very, very important.
Got to have your 4 hours to recharge.
You've got to have you know what I mean? Like, so. But no, on a serious point, personality is a big thing. It is a big thing. You've got to have someone that you're going to get on with as well, you know. So it's not all about the looks, you know what I mean? But it does help. Well,
I've got a few pictures here. I was going to do a little snog, marry, avoid with you, see what you're thinking.
Go on, then.
So first up, we've got Maya Jama. Don't know if you know Maya Jama.
Yeah, Maya Jama, like, you know, yeah. I'm not a big fan, to be honest.
You're not a big fan? Overrated, potentially.
Just saying, like, people go,
potentially.
You're mad.
Yeah, well, a lot of people rave over it, but there is.
And I don't see what they go mad about, but there you go.
Second up, Holly Willoughby from this morning Britain or whatever.
Very nice.
And finally, the country's kind of, what would the word be? The country's favourite MILF is Susanna Reid.
Ah.
I mean, the thing about Susanna is she put up with Piers Morgan for a long time, so she's going to be able to put up with you. You know what I mean?
Puts up with Piers, I'm telling you that.
So snog, marry, avoid Susanna Reid, Holly Willoughby, and Maya Jama. Where you putting them in?
I'm going to snog Holly.
Yeah.
What's marry Suzanne?
Yeah, and avoid Maya Jama.
Yeah.
Oh, she's going to be gutted.
Yeah, she'll be disappointed. She will be right at like, the judge don't want to know, like.
Well, that's the ultimate test, really.
I just think like she wears weird outfits. Do you know what I mean? Like, listen, she's a nice looking girl, like, you know what I mean? Like, I shouldn't be judging her on that, but like she's not my like favourite sort of one, if I'll be honest, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I hear you. And I mean, I think Susanna Reid for the Marry is the only call, really. Like I say, it's the only call.
It's the most sensible one as well.
It's
the most sensible one.
I think Holly and Maya were interchangeable on that, but Susanna should always be holding the marriage spot there.
Yeah, should be always.
Yeah.
That's it, 100%.
So what would Susanna Reid's seen this pod and she says, listen, Lee, let's go on a date. What would your go-to date location be? What's a date with Lee Judges look like?
You have to, like, I don't know about you, like, probably the youngsters go clubbing and all that. It'd be a nice, goes to a nice trendy bar meal place where you can get a drink and something to eat as well, like, so something like that. Clubbing and all that is not for me, like, but somewhere nice.
We need to be able to talk, don't you?
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? Like, and you need to have a little bit of liveliness in the background, like, but somewhere where you've got a nice bar and then like something to eat as well, would be nice.
Is there any restaurant in mind or any bar in mind?
No, not really. Depending where they come from. If they're a London girl, you know what I mean. Maybe like some nice places up in Manchester. Like, if we're talking Manchester, some nice places up there. That would be about it, really. Like, so I think you don't want to sort of like, and this is a good one for the answers. You don't want to say like on the first date, take your girlfriend to the Ivy or take her to somewhere right over the top. Right? Because they're going to expect they want that every week. You know what I mean? Like, so you've got to go in. Middle
ground.
You know what I mean? Middle ground, so you can improve. You know what I mean? There's a judge's tip for you. Like,
yeah, I'm going to have to take that on board. The last date I went on was Ivy first, but I paid. Yeah, it's funny enough.
Where did you go from there, like, you know what I mean?
Well, I mean, luckily, we went to like this rooftop bar after, and she got the first couple rounds in after I'd paid for the meal, so it balanced out all right. But
yeah. Where did you go? The Ivy upstairs or downstairs?
It was one in Leeds, and it was downstairs.
One in Leeds?
Yeah. So downstairs, the one in Leeds. I mean, to be fair, like, you know, what I like about the Ivy is like, you know, obviously the bill's never great, but it's not like as bad as you'd think, if that makes sense.
Yes, I know exactly what you mean. You think it's going to be a little bit higher than what it actually is. The drinks don't go drinking in there, like, do you know what I mean? Like, nice meal, be sensible on the drink, especially if you're taking a young lady out, especially you students and everything like that. Don't go mad on the drink. Go, if you're in Manchester, go to the Ivy and then go, you know, then impress her by going across to the cocktail bar where you buy one, get one free. That's what
that's the one.
There you go.
You definitely, are you saying like first date, you paying? First date's a guy pay?
You know what? Like, I speak to a lot of the girls now, like, you know, like the girls on AFTV and the girls doing the watch-alongs and all that. They're a little bit different about it now. Like, oh, no, we don't expect you to pay, like, you know what I mean? Like, where, you know, I think what you, like, you've got the girl that, I don't know whatever happened to you, that girl that you had, but, like, you know, that seemed like decent. She's let you pay for the meal and then she's gone and bought a few drinks, you know what I mean? So I think that would be a good thing, but I wouldn't expect, you know, like, if you've asked a girl out on a first date, I wouldn't expect her to say, oh, right, that, you know, I'll pay if I've asked her out, do you know what I mean? So, but it's a lot different now, isn't it? With girls, girls are so much more independent now that they find that offensive. So they want to pay their way, want to do that. Like, So it's a tough world now. Like, you know,
it is. It's hard to judge it up. I'd say, personally speaking, the one thing you got to look out for is on the first date. If they offer to split it, then they're in the clear. I mean, I like always pay for the first one. But if they offer to split it, it's like, okay, I'll take that. And then, you know, if you go to some place after, they'll usually insist, oh, I'll get the first drink or what, you know what I mean? And it's like...
Yeah, and you got a decent one then, haven't you? Like,
So, that's a good litmus test, you know?
It's all a test, you know. It's all a test.
It's got to feel it out. So... Back onto like the football stuff. Obviously, you said that, you know, you were playing when you were a lot younger. Was it that time when you were out for 3 months that you got really into Arsenal, or were you always like into Arsenal?
No, I was always into Arsenal. What happened was I was, you know, my dad used to take me when I was a kid and all that. And then I started playing, and then I got released from a professional club, and. One of the things that I regret is because I think of little bits of insecurity, which is what you don't know now, which you know now, is that because I thought I wasn't good enough then, like, do you know what I mean? But what I should have done was like, no, I can still play, I can do it somewhere else or whatever. But I thought, okay. Very difficult when you was, and I don't mean this being cocky. When I was a youngster, I was getting away with things like as a kid because I was like a decent player. Like, oh, you could do this, do that. Then all of a sudden, it hits you that you know you're at. And I'll be honest. When I went to play, I thought I was a good player. I realised that I wasn't as good as what I thought I was when I played with other players. You know what I mean? We're doing things. I thought, blimey, these are good players. You know what I mean? Blah 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 blah. So, but it's not, you know, I still see a few of the guys that went on to make it and they say, no, you was a good player, you was, and all that. So I'll take that as a compliment. But yeah, so I had about a year out then. I started going, Charlie Nicholas had signed for Arsenal and I started going playing, watching Arsenal all the time, going few away games, going all the home games. And just playing Sunday mornings with my mates, just playing around Sunday mornings, and then we played over at Cuffley, which is just up the road to me. It was a Sunday morning. The Cuffley manager was a fella called Steve Sale, who I'm still in contact with now. was watching the game, and he came up to me afterwards and said, "Why don't you come and play?" I said, "No, I'm going to the Arsenal." And he kept going on about it, saying, "Look, come and play." And what he did to me, which was a great thing, he said to me, "Come and play. When Arsenal are at home, go to the Arsenal. When Arsenal are away, come and play for me." Like, you know what I mean? And that's what I'd done for a few weeks. And then in the end, he just said to me, like, "Oh, what are you doing Saturday?" So I said, "Oh, I'll play. Like, you know." And so then I started playing again, and I got picked up and then got moved. Started getting, I was cuffly for a year or so, like, and he got me fit. He used to make me work harder in training. He used to do this, do that. And then eventually I got moved, I got taken to Waltham Abbey, and then Waltham Abbey was a lot higher, and then on to other things. And but yeah, so he persevered with me. And I remember going back to him years ago and saying, "Oh, why'd you do that?" And he goes, "Because I knew once you started getting back into football that you would give up the Arsenal." And he used to say to me, he goes, "Lee, you've got a window of like 20 years of age, say, like to your 30, where you can play football, and then it's gone. Yeah, you can watch football for 50, 60 years, you know what I mean?" So, and my dad was always pushing on. My dad played for Orient when he was younger. He was always like pushing me to play, you know, but he never forced me to do it. So I got back into it, and then my dad would come and watch me every game, and yeah, so I started getting back into it like that. So lots of thanks, Steve, to get me back in football. And I played my last semi-professional game when I was 39. So I've done all right, you know what I mean? I went on to a long age through it, and yeah, so I just had that year out. But I loved it. Now, if I remember, like, you know, little stories like, you know, Arsenal would be playing. My dad would come to every game, and the ball would run out for a throw or whatever, and the old man would just go 1-0.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that I would always know. And then, like, obviously football then started changing a little bit, where it was then on a Sunday, so you could maybe go to a game. But it was difficult because Highbury was only 38,000. Very, very hard to get a ticket for those games. I actually, funny enough, I finished playing football in 2006 when Arsenal went into the Emirates. So it was this bigger stadium. So I managed to get a ticket then and was able to go more regularly, like, you know. But there were times when, you know, Sunday Arsenal were playing, you couldn't get a ticket, you know what I mean? Like, luckily sometimes I did, I had good connections or whatever. And that's how it was. So Arsenal's always been there, like, you know, there was sometimes I remember an Arsenal Spurs game we was playing. I used to hate playing when Arsenal and Spurs were playing. I think that Spurs were. It was at Spurs. It must have been a 12:30 kickoff. So we're warming up before the game, and the old man saying, "I mean, you know, it's 1-0 to Spurs." You know what I mean? Like, this is going back when Arsenal were the dominant force. You know what I mean? Over 1-0 down. You know what I mean? Like, you know, couldn't concentrate, like getting ready for the game, and you know what I mean? And in the end, the old man said, "Finish 1-0." Like, you know what I mean? Perez scored in the last. So say, "Oh, thank God for that." And then you could go out and play your game. You know what I mean?
Of course.
Like, you know, so
was there was there like anything? So obviously football these days is so different to how it used to be back in the day. You know, these days you've got the money, you've got VAR, you've got diving. Is there, and also there's like hospitality. There's a lot more prominent and making the game more marketable. So is there anything about the old game that you really miss?
Well, listen, I think everything about the old game. First of all, the stadiums. You know, like you could go to, you know, stand and things like that. Obviously, that changed through Hillsborough and that, and for the right reasons, obviously, like, you know. But you could go to games. The greatest thing that for me, which is what my kids have missed out, and your generation is like, you know, is that. I remember we was working at doing a job for my mates, and like, we could hear Tottenham versus playing West Ham, and you could hear the roar of the crowd and all that. Like, you know, and we said, "Oh, should we go and watch that game? Just go and watch a game of football." And you could queue up and get in. You know what I mean? It was two teams that I weren't interested in, but there was times when I was growing up as a kid that my mum's side of my family are all Spurs, you know what I mean? Like season ticket holders and everything like that. So they'd go Spurs one week, my granddad say, right, you know, we take me and my brother, we go there, and then the following week we go to the Arsenal, you know what I mean? You could do that. And go to those sort of games. There's only the big games that were all ticket you have to queue up for and get a ticket. So it, you know what I mean. So that side of it has changed completely. Like now I look at the things like, you know, like I see like people getting booked for tackles that, you know what I mean, you're ridiculous. You know what I mean. Like, I was always taught win the ball. If you take the man as well, that's even better.
That's
like,
an added bonus.
So, added bonus.
These days, I believe the terminology is the Brexit tackle.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right. Is that what they call it now?
Yeah.
So, but they were the things that we've done, you know, like, you know, you teach to go in harder than whatever, like, you know. I know it sounds silly, like, you know, but when we was at school, going back to when we was at school, you weren't allowed to wear a vest underneath your top. Now you've got the base things and everything like that. You've got like
the gloves,
the boots are like slippers, and you know you're not wear gloves. Now I have always suffered with cold hands, really like bad. You know what I mean? Like, you know, you sort of put up my old sleeves. You know what I mean? And all of a sudden, along come Patrick Vieira and Thierry Henry and made it like trendy to wear gloves. So you could go and wear gloves at games, and no one ever has a go at you now because you wear gloves. You know what I mean?
Yeah, if Henry can wear them, like why can't I?
Exactly. You know what I mean? Like so you could wear gloves. You remember like the bit of Vic on the shirt. You know what I mean? Become trendy. Like, you know what I mean? Whether it done anything or not, like that. But the tackles, like, that's one part of the game that I think is wrong. Do you know what I mean? Like, was there people getting injured as much back in that day? Not as much as what it is today. There's still, you're always going to get injuries. But you know, I remember like Vieira versus Keane. It weren't just about the football. It was them two coming together as as a midfield player, like and dominating someone with a tackle. You know what I mean? And I think that side of the game is missed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, like I used to love it. You know, you're running down the line with someone and you slide in and you take the ball, you know what I mean, and come up in one movement with the ball and he goes flying and all.
Yeah. Well, it makes it more of a spectacle, you know.
It's an art. It's an art. Tackling is an art. It's still taken out of the game. This VAR,
it's a shame.
Don't get me started on that. It's a joke, you know what I mean? Like, you know, you just look at the Sterling penalty. If that's a penalty, you know what I mean, like football's finished, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
Like,
yeah.
Like, you know, come on.
Yeah.
There's been there's been contacts all the time. And years ago, if you dived on a like that, right, you know, you was gonna get it. There'd be someone in there going, right, you wait till you get down the tunnel. I'll tell you, you know, I'll give you something to dive for. I'll give you something to fall over for. Like, games, you know.
It's just the modern game, though, isn't it? Like, you know, with that Sterling thing, you know, 20 years ago, that, like you say, that doesn't fly. But these days, that's bloody stone wall. You know what I mean?
Whether you think it's right, whether you think it's wrong, it's, listen,
by modern standard.
Arsenal and England have been on the wrong end of things and all that. Like, you have to take it, like. But if that was happened against us, I'll be disappointed. You know what I mean? I'd be really annoyed by it if that cost you a
You're getting the enforcer afterwards.
That is football, you know what I mean? And the VAR thing, come on, like, you know what I mean? Like, you know.
Well, I've had mates who, there's a particular friend of mine called Barney, and he's a Chelsea fan. And, he's quite a big Chelsea fan, went to a lot of the away games and stuff. And he's now not a Chelsea supporter because he hates Premier League football and he hated, like, the whole Super League thing and, like, hates VAR and just doesn't want to watch it anymore.
Oh, well, do you know what? It's made me, like, when they took away the football through the pandemic and I thought, I'm going to really miss it. I've not missed it one iota. Not missed it one, you know. The games are not as good as what they were. You know what I mean? Like, you celebrate a goal and all of a sudden, it comes up on VAR and it's a hairline of an offside, which, you know, whether you agree with that or not, that's not what offside was brought in for.
No.
You know, and going back, when I played football, it was the same game whether you was playing on a Sunday morning on a park, playing a semi-professional or professional. It was the same rules, same things for everything. Now, is completely different because the VAR has taken football away from, because you ain't got that at non-league football. Non-league football cannot have that, you know what I mean?
No.
And I think that's one of the greatest things about football. It's like if you play golf, you can go and play golf on the same golf course as a professional. That is what it was all about.
Yeah.
So it's completely changed. And now, like, you have a look at the FA Cup, because you're not in the Premier League, you can't have VAR, but another team that's in the FA Cup can have VAR.
Yeah.
It's all ridiculous sort of stuff,
Yeah.
So,
I mean, one of my worst memories as a City fan was I was there at the stadium. I think you already know what it is, against Spurs.
I know what it is. Yeah.
I was going absolutely mental, and then it get ruled out, and I was like, he's just robbed like an incredible moment. And the worst part about it was, it's like, if you're going to be doing all these VAR offsides and stuff, like Llorente earlier in that game, like, but he handled it for their goal. So it's like, I think VAR's definitely a very contentious subject. And with the offsides as well, the thing that pisses me off is it's like, well, offside, normally, if you're a hair off, like a little, like that much off, in the eyes of the game, because nobody's ever going to be able to tell, like a linesman's never going to be able to tell that. Technically, you're in a grey area of onside, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and
100%.
So really, I think there should be a little bit of leniency there, like, whether you're like a certain amount offside, you're actually on, you know what I mean? Because it's stopping these great moments and these goals for like minuscule infractions on the rule, which wasn't designed in the first place for that.
Exactly. You know what I mean? Like, exactly. The offside was stopped for goal hanging. That's what it was brought in for. And listen, there's never been anything wrong with it. You know what I mean? If you're level, you're onside. You know what I mean? Like, listen, if you're about that much offside, you know what I mean? Like, then that's fair enough. But like when it's going into that, I don't think it's offside. You know,
when the lines come out, it's it's got to go for me.
It's ridiculous. And you go to football for goals. You go, you know what I mean? You go there to ultimately to see your team win, but also to see us to be entertained. Yeah. And goals bring entertainment. Goals change games. You know what I mean? Like, so if
you don't go to watch some lines being drawn.
Exactly right.
Yeah. So talking about AFTV now, obviously that's been like a huge change, must have been a huge change in your life, like from that first interview that I saw of you when you like pretty riled up at the performance, and obviously that one went viral. What's your kind of life been like post AFTV? What's the best part of being known for AFTV and the worst part?
The best part, I'll tell you this now, the best part now is that you can interact with other fans and things like that, and be able to do things like charity football games. People ask me to play. Can you believe it? Ask me to play in charity football games now. So you're bringing them back and helping people that way. It's fantastic. You know, I mean, meeting players that I used to follow around and they know who you are is incredible. And listen, to get paid to have an opinion about your football team is a dream. It's a dream.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, so with that comes with all that good stuff and which you have got, there comes bad stuff of jealousy and a little bit of hate and whatever, like, you know, and you have to get to accept that. And that's just not with people you don't know. It's like with friends and close people as well, because they perceive you as different, and you know, can be a little bit jealous of what you've got and what's happening to you and whatever, like, you know. And listen, you know, I never went into it for any of that sort of stuff. I just never. I weren't on social media, weren't on nothing like that. Didn't even know what Twitter was when I'd done that first interview. To where it's gone now is where you go, wherever I go now. You know, I'll get recognised and all that. Like, and you know, and that's why I like doing things like with the youngsters now, because I just, you know, I feel like I've got like, you know, if I can't. I've got two schools around by me. I can't walk. I can't walk past them at certain times of the day because I get mobbed.
Yeah.
You might think that's silly, but that's the way it is. So you've got this massive influence on younger people, and if I can teach them or influence them to be, proactive in their lives, then that's a blessing for me. I can do something like that, and that's what I'm trying to get into that now and do little things with that.
Yeah.
So that is fantastic that you can go to people and people have turned around. I've had messages from people that have been in lockdown and thanks for what you've done and everything like that. We love watching you. Make me laugh and all that. And I think that's important, is you don't take things seriously, and I don't. Whatever comes my way, I feel very fortunate about. Listen, with some of the stuff, you're going to get bad stuff, and people are going to. But it's all tongue in cheek. You know what I mean? Like the thing with Harry Kane. You know what I mean? It's a little bit tongue in cheek. It's a little bit. It's not that deep.
No.
You know what I mean? Where it's ruining my life or ruining anybody else's life.
Yeah.
And you just have to, go with it a little bit.
Embrace the good. Embrace the good and the enjoyment, and not take it too seriously.
Without a doubt, listen. I don't try to be big-headed when I say things like this. I went to Wimbledon the other week, and the woman comes up, the waitress comes up to me, and she says, you don't mind me asking, apparently you're famous. So I said, no, I'm not famous. And she says, all the staff are going, you're so lucky, you're serving Lee Judges and all that. Do you know what I mean? And you think, really, is it that? And people then, is it all right if they come over and have a photo? Tell them to come over. And then I'm standing having photos at Wimbledon, and people are looking at me and going he must be some sort of real celebrity. You know what I mean? So, and that's how it is. That's that's part of. See, the thing is, people go. You could have people going, "Oh, look at him! What's he having his photo done with somebody like that?" But then again, if I turn around and say, "No, I don't," I'm not having photos. People are going to turn around and say, "Oh, look at him! He's arrogant. Don't want to have his photo done. Who the hell does he think he is?" So you can't win.
No.
So basically, what you just got to do is just be natural, be yourself, and
be a man of the people.
That's it.
Yeah.
You're not going to please everybody in life. You know what I mean? So, and I think that if you can bring that on board, then it's great. Did I realise that it would be as big as what this is? Unbelievably, no. You know what I mean?
No one could have foreseen it, really.
No, it's just absolutely unbelievable how big it is. And to be honest, I remember when we was in lockdown and they was talking about doing these watch-alongs, and I turned around and said, they said, we want to do it. I said, well, no one's going to watch them. I said, no, they ain't going to be interesting. Who's going to want to watch the game and not all that.
But one of your best moments has come from the watch-alongs.
Well, it's just, of course it is. The watch-alongs just blew it up another level. Another level. So much so now, doing all the Euros and things like that. And probably one of the things that's now made me infamous, or is as you like, is the thing with Harry Kane. You know what I mean? Absolutely blew up. Beyond
believe.
Whatever. I thought we would do. You know what I mean? So,
I've got.
I didn't even know I'd done it.
Yeah, I've got a few of my personal favourite AFTV quotes lined up here. I'm going to play them out for you over the switchboard. I want you to so I'm going to play them. I want you to rate them, and then we'll just go from there. So the first one that's coming up now.
AFTV Claude, I'm going to ask you the same question that I asked.
It's time to go!
Oh, bless him. Bless him.
Yeah. That one for me is a personal favourite. Just everyone in the back just going bloody mental.
Listen, I used to, me and Claude used to meet up after the games and go for a beer and all that. And how many people used to just shout out, "It's time to go"? You wouldn't believe, you know what I mean? It's unbelievable, you know what I mean? So great one. And an absolute, now listen, he never meant to say that to get what it got, but, I think that would probably be Claude's...
We're talking about a man of the people. Claude definitely came across as a man of the people, especially with the Arsenal fans.
Yeah, great guy, you know what I mean? So,
I'm sure you have a lot of great memories with Claude. Is there anything that springs to mind?
Well, the best one is that I invited him round my house for a barbecue, and he come round. We was all had a few beers, and he was drunk. We was all sitting around the table. There's women on the table and all. And we've gone like so. One of the I can't remember who was going. So, what do you think of Jack and Danny then, Claude? And he's gone. What teams he play for? Like, he didn't even fucking know what it was like. Do you know what I mean? So. Yeah, he was like, so we used to say, Jack and Danny, like, you know what I mean? He's going, what are you on about, Jack and Danny? You know what I mean? So, he was just a real, do you know what? He was a lot funnier than what he was a funny guy, you know what I mean? He could be hilarious, some of the things that he'd do, and, just a pleasure to be around, like, you know what I mean? But very, very sad, very sad.
Yeah, well, I think... like I said to you earlier, I've been following AFTV for ages, and he will, certainly be sincerely missed. Such a great.
It was one of the reasons that I started watching it, really, when I first, because you could relate to him. He was he was hurting. You know what I mean? Like when we lost, it wasn't put on or anything like that. It was genuine, and he was like that in real life as well, you know what I mean? If Arsenal had lost, he was a miserable bastard, you know what I mean? Like, so, but that's how he was, and brilliant character, like, I remember one day me and Kevin were doing something, or Kevin was doing something for Arsenal, and we was out, and he'd seen it on the socials. He's on the phone. Where the bloody hell are you? You don't invite me down to drink. We're going, we don't. As soon as we get there, we'll let you know. Like, you're out. No, Claude. Like, well, when are you going to be down there? We'll be down there in 20 minutes. Right, I'll be there. And then you walk into the pub and he'll be there. Like, do you know what I mean? But like, he was just a larger than life character. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, with the.
I'll tell you what, it's going to be worse for me because when I go back to games, because it would always be like meet up afterwards for a drink afterwards, you know what I mean? We're drunk in the same pub. So that's when it's going to affect me, I think, more than what it probably has now, like,
Yeah, no, I hear you. Well, he's had a lot of iconic moments, and his memory will always live on through AFTV, and especially that quote. So that one definitely gets a 10, doesn't it?
100%.
So next one.
Mopo, you're an absolute disgrace. You're a cheat. I hope Brighton get relegated.
Don't blame it on Mope. Don't blame it on...
You're a cheat. You're a disgrace. I hope Brighton get relegated.
Now, that genuinely was my favourite video of the entire year. There's so many things in that. First of all, that he goes up to the camera to make his voice sound louder, but takes the mic away from his face, so he's actually quieter. And like everyone creasing in the background. Were you there in the background when everyone's like creasing?
No, I don't think I was, because like he always goes on last.
Right.
One of the last people on that, but
we'll get out of here before Ty starts talking.
Do you know what? What he's like on that, he's like that off the thing. He's just so. What can I say?
He left you speechless.
He has that thing, because you just can't. He cannot see any wrong in Arsenal, whether they've lost. If they've lost 5-0,
it's the weather.
He just doesn't. And I admire that. I admire that of him so much. So you know what I mean. He'll blame everything other than the players and the team and whatever, and will not have it. And he won't. If you say a bad word about his team, he will defend it to the hill, you know what I mean?
And he will die on that hill.
He would, he would, you know what I mean? Like, but I'll tell you what, one of the nicest guys you could ever wish to meet is absolute gentleman. And I'll tell you what, doing these watch-alongs, me and him have sort of done them quite a lot together, so we've got to know each other. I love him. He's an absolute blinding bloke.
Yeah.
And
a larger-than-life character, really, isn't it?
Yeah, and I'll tell you, if you ever do meet him, you walk away feeling what a really nice guy he is, and he is just genuinely a very, very nice guy. Like that.
I would love to meet him. I've got a few mates who live in London, and they've seen him in Tesco and stuff like that, doing his weekly shop or whatever, and he's still wearing the Arsenal gear, like head to toe.
Head to toe. One of the funniest things that we see with him was that he'd done an advert for JD Sports, And he come in head to toe with all this Adidas gear on, like, and is this your brother or something? Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Where's Ty gone?
It's been like, you know what I mean? All of a sudden you've been like given a load of sports gear and all that. And when you see him away from football, he is a completely different guy. When he's not got that Arsenal gear on, you wouldn't recognise him. You know, you wouldn't. It'd be,
so we are confirming that there are times where he's not wearing the Arsenal gear.
There are times. Not wearing the Arsenal gear. Yeah, exactly like that. So,
because I was going to ask, like, have you ever see if I knew Ty and I had access to him, the first thing I'd want to do is like look at what his wardrobe looks like, because I'd imagine it would just be all Arsenal. Have you ever actually seen his wardrobe before? No,
I've never seen his wardrobe before, but he's all Arsenal. He's got like his socks, his pants, his trainers, his shirt. Everything's Arsenal. When he goes Arsenal, it's everything Arsenal. Like, know what I mean? But
is it out of tradition or is it for look?
No, just if Arsenal are playing, he'll wear Arsenal gear. But if Arsenal ain't playing, he done a watch along the other day and come in jeans. You know what I mean? Like, it's a shock.
Yeah.
But but I can confirm that he has got other gear.
Yeah, he's kind of then a little bit like Batman. Like, he's got his suit, and bloody hell, that's Batman. That's Ty in his Arsenal gear. But then you take it off, it's like, who's this Bruce Wayne pal?
Yeah, that's exactly right. I'll tell him that one. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah. Right, next one here.
That's the day he's done it again, that Harry Kane, that fucking dirty little...
He's done it again.
He's done it again.
That is a fact.
Now, obviously, this one's yours.
Try jumping on the end of it and all that.
What I love about that clip is in the actual clip, I can't tell whether or not DT is going along with you to wind you up, or whether he's actually genuinely just as mad as you were.
I think everybody's just genuinely mad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it was just. Listen, I look back at some of them and you just think, nah, that ain't me. Did I really do that? Did I say that? Did I do that? But the greatest thing about them is you're actually watching football, and it's just what you're doing. It's just natural, you know what I mean? Like, and I look back on that. Do you know when I've done that and it's all come back up, I'm going, oh no, like, you know what I mean? I can't believe it. But then, you just have to embrace it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It is what it is, and listen, I do a thing for Cameo now, like, when birthday messages and things like that. Now, a little story about that. They approached me to do it, and I went, oh no, I don't want to be doing all of that. I'm not a celebrity. I'm not this. I'm not that. And they said, no, look, Lee, you'll be really good at it, and people will want to do it. And I didn't for ages. I said, no, I'm not doing it. And I'll tell you what, I went to the Arsenal protest, the first one going back, and I had to get to the watch along to do it. But I was late back to the watch along where people were asking for photos in my memory, and I got back late, and and a lot of them were going like, "Can you just say he's done it again?" Again. So anyway, Cameo approached me again, and I said, "Oh, I'll do it."
Give it a go.
And you'd be surprised how many people want birthday messages with like, can you just say he's done it again, that dirty bastard, it's happy birthday, like
happy birthday, you dirty bastard, you've done it again.
I've probably done 50 birthday messages on there, maybe even more now. And I would say 45 of them I've got to go, you dirty bastard, he's done it again, happy birthday. You know what I mean? So that's how mad it's been and gone, like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
have you have you paid attention to like the meme pages and like what they put up about you?
I have. Again, you have to embrace them and laugh at them, like the
Voldemort, like when Harry Potter saves the day.
Ones and all that, like, listen, they're not complimentary, those ones, you know what I mean? But listen, I see the funny side of it, and that. The one that is really funny is where they do the scenes out of Psycho and all that, like, from it. I don't know if you've seen that way. It's very, very clever, you know what I mean? And and listen, that if you get into this industry, you've got to have a little bit of a sense of humour, a little bit thick skin and things like that, you know. So things are not always going to be complimentary or whatever, like. So you just go with it, you know what I mean? Like, and I, you know, listen, I find him quite funny and everything like that, you know. And
the memes are made out of love. The memes are made out of love in the end.
I think that they are as well, you know what I mean? I do think that there is, you know, they're looking for the fun, like, you know, and I think if you see it that way, and you know, at first I thought, oh no, I ain't gonna like that and whatever.
Yeah.
But listen, you know, it's all good fun, and I think I'm a fun sort of guy anyway. Do you know what I mean? So nothing's gonna really offend me, like as long as you don't. You know, like if you're not gonna, you can take the mickey out of me. You can call me whatever you want, like you know, this, see you then, see anything you that. As long as you ain't doing it to my mum or whatever like that, you know what I mean. Then and the kids or whatever, then that's fine. Do you know what I mean? But like, you know.
I mean, some meme pages absolutely love it. I mean, I'm Just Bait are just like, I don't know if you follow I'm Just Bait, but they're churning you out on a daily basis with their like Harry Kane stuff and the he's done it again. They really love you.
Oh, well, no, don't follow. I follow a couple of the guys, you know, that like. So I'll have to follow them, like, you know what I mean? So,
I'll have to send you a few of them after.
It's quite. You know, one of the guys, you know, like the guy jokes that does it.
That's another one.
Him out, like, and he just laughs. You know what I mean? Like he said, and he goes, Lee, you know, your comedy is lovely and all that. Like, so yeah. It's all good fun, you know what I mean? Like, and listen, without them, I'll be honest with you, out of all those people not doing that, you know, I wouldn't be where I am, you know, I'm earning money out of it. So I thank these guys very much, you know what I mean? So, you know, they're making money out of me and I'm making the money out of the back of that as well, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so,
it's good business in the end. And everyone's loving it. Everyone loves it.
Everybody's loving it.
That was the other one there. That Jokes guy, he bloody loves it. He's posting them all the time. So it's a mutually beneficial thing, isn't it?
Yeah, and then the funny thing about it is, you know, like you don't want, you know, I used to, that first one come out, I used to put on there, like on my phone, like, remember you're on camera, because, you know, I don't want none of these things going. And then you just forget, you know what I mean, and bosh, and then there's another one up, bastard. I mean, like, but that's how it is, you know, it's all good fun.
No, great stuff. One last big sound effect for you to have a look at.
About my who? About my what? About my block client!
Now, that one reminds me quite a lot of the Claude one with everybody in the back just absolutely loving it and getting involved. Were you present for that moment?
I don't know. I probably was present for that one, like, you know what I mean? Like, listen, Troops, what a guy, what a lovely, another nice fella. Gets a lot of stick, gets a lot of good stuff as well. But my God, got a personality. I miss him, to be fair. I actually miss Troops, you know, and obviously doing really well in America now, like, you know, for all of this. It's unbelievable. But yeah, that and when you actually see that, his face is just a picture. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, so I think like that would have to be up there with, you know, with the Claude one, if I'll be honest. Like, you know, I think all four of them are up there. For
the greatest moments. Yeah.
Greatest. Yeah. Well, listen, to be put on, if you was to put on the greatest sort of catchphrases of all the people, to be even in the top four is a great thing. And you know, like, but I think Claude and I think Claude's one for me is the winner, and probably that one Troops is second. But you know, iconic and very, very, very good.
Yeah,
very
personally,
good.
I'd agree. Claude's the best one. I have to put Ty in second. That video gave me so much joy. Just I watched that over and over again. And then the Aubameyang one has to go third for me. So now, obviously, we have to talk about this. So England are in the final, and a lot of people have been memeing you over the not celebrating Harry Kane. Just how difficult was it for you not to celebrate in that semi-final when Kane scored?
Do you know what? Right, I and this is you know what I mean. Like, I'm not a big celebrator of goals anyway. Like, you know what I mean? When I'm watching it on TV, I'm more of a yes, you know what I mean? Like, you go through all of my stuff, watching AFTV stuff, you won't see me jumping up and going mad all the time. I'm in the maybe going yes, and that's it, like, you know.
Yeah.
But no one picks up on all that sort of stuff. But with the Harry Kane one, I just, when the penalties come in, what I should have done, that's just walked out. I said to Robbie, I said, just walked out because I just thought he was going to score. I knew he was going to score or he was going to win 2-1. But then when he missed it, you know what I mean? Like,
didn't know what to do.
I could see. I didn't know what to do. You know what I mean? Like, listen, you know, people turn around and say, "Oh, you don't enjoy," like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know what the big issue is because I don't celebrate a goal. Don't mean to say that I'm happy and all that, like, do you know what I mean? Like, I didn't really. I celebrate, you know, like if you have a look at the first goal, I celebrate. Yes, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I think, without saying too much, I think if Harry Kane would have scored that goal, I might have actually cheered because that was a very, very important goal. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Like, to get back into the game because you're 1-0 down.
Whereas from the penalty spot, you were a bit more composed. You kind of thought what was coming.
A little bit more. But listen, you know, if we go to a penalty shootout on Sunday and Harry Kane's taking his penalty and he scores it, I'm going to go yes. You know what I mean? Because it's more important that England win the game. You know what I mean? If he scores or he doesn't, you know, if he'd have missed that penalty. And he doesn't score, there's still a chance we can still go on and win the game. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
but if he misses a penalty in a penalty shootout, it's a massive thing. You know what I mean? And I have actually, do you remember when Dyer got the penalty against I think in the Colombia, and you know, I never went mad and that, but I was pleased because England have gone through. You know what I mean? Like, now it's important to me that England win on Sunday. We've got very, very, where I live, there's a lot of Italian community around here. Like, you know, I went football yesterday and they're all coming in their Juventus and Italy shirts, you know what I mean?
Really representing.
And that's what it's about. So, you know, I want to win for it all. Like, I don't care if Harry Kane scores and whatever. And the thing is what people go on about, if you look at anything that I've said, even when he weren't playing well, I said, you can't drop Harry Kane because he's the one player that if England are going to win this competition, Harry Kane's got to step up, and he has, you know what I mean, with his goals, because he's the best. You know, and I've said this, if Spain had Harry Kane in their team, Spain would be in the final now. If Italy had Harry Kane in their team, Italy would win this final easily. Yeah. So that's how big an influence he is there. Like,
there's no hate towards Harry.
I get there.
He's a great player.
Great, fantastic player. You know what I mean? Like, why do I not like Harry Kane? It's because he's been a tormentor of me for 5 years. He's been banging in goals, left, right, and centre against us, cheating for penalties or whatever you want to say he does. You know, down. Diving over, doing all of that sort of stuff. I looked at it on Wednesday in the last minute. He done it again in the last minute. Dive for a free kick.
But he's done it again.
He's done it again, but it was great, you know what I mean, because it was for England, you know what I mean? Like, but I don't, and I find it very, very difficult for 9 months, you know, listen, I don't want Spurs to ever win a game of football, you know what I mean? I don't, so for 9 months, I hate on Harry Kane because that's the way I've been brought up, Arsenal and Spurs. Yeah. So I find it very, very difficult to celebrate Harry Kane, you know what I mean? Listen, and it is a Spurs, like, thing, you know what I mean? Ryan scored a few goals for Spurs, you know what I mean? Like, I've known him since a kid, you know what I mean? Like, but when he's scored goals for Hull or Doncaster or Swindon, I've jumped up and been mad about it. When he scored goals for Spurs.
It's just a Spurs thing.
It's a Spurs thing, you know what I mean?
Well,
like,
I feel like, well, a lot of my mates have said, because obviously I'm like, oh, but Lee Judges is coming on and all the rest of it. And my mate said that I have like a national duty here now that I've got you in front of me, because, you know, forget Brexit, forget COVID. I think the biggest issue in this nation is you not celebrating Harry Kane's goal. And, you know, a lot of people want to see it. And you touched on it a little bit earlier, that you'd celebrate if he like scored his penalty in the shootout, like give it a little yes. But could we come to some sort of verbal agreement that now we're in a final and it's for the Euro? It's been 60 odd years since we last won something. Can I get you to agree to celebrate Kane if he scores?
I will say this now. Right, I will say this now. I won't celebrate Harry Kane. Say if England are winning 2-0, right, and Harry Kane ain't scored, then he scores, I won't be celebrating it.
Okay.
Right? But if we were a goal down with seconds to go and Harry Kane gets the winner or gets something like that, I think, forget it's Harry Kane, you know what I mean? I probably would, you know what I mean? I'll be honest with you, like, you know, and this is two stories, I can say this now. I never celebrated Teddy Sheringham scoring goals in the 96. Right, and I've met Teddy Sheringham on a couple of occasions and got on really well and everything like that. And I regret that because he's a really nice guy, and probably the same with Harry Kane. And I said to him, you know, but having a laugh and a joke, he was up on stage and he took the mickey out of me being an Arsenal fan, and then he came off. He was having a bit. And I said, I didn't even cheer your goals in 96, you know what I mean? And he laughed and joked and he said, you know what I mean? Like, and I said to him, I regret that. And after meeting him, I regret that. You know what I mean? I did cheer Gary Lineker in 1990 when he went against Cameroon. We looked like we was going out against Cameroon, right? And Gary Lineker was then playing for Spurs. And I was in the pub and he got a penalty. We was 2-1 down. And he got a penalty and he scored it, and I cheered. You know what I mean? So I have done it like on that occasion.
You've done it before. You can do it again, Lee.
To make it to 3-2. He actually went when he scored to make it 3-2. I didn't, but it was the importance of the goal. So let's hope that we win 2-0 and Harry Kane I don't have to do it. Like, do you know what I mean? But
if he does, let's say let's get this set. Let's get this like a verbal contract, right? So, if Harry Kane scores either an equaliser or something that, you know, let's say puts us 2-1 up, can we get you to celebrate for the country, Lee?
Listen, I can't promise, but virtually, I think that I will. You know what I mean? Like, because England's more important. It's very, very. It's not like I don't want to celebrate. Like, I'm very, very happy inside. Like, do you know what I mean? So you might get a yes from me. Like, I'll say that. You won't get me going mad and up and down about it, like, you know what I mean? But listen, the most important thing is England winning. Whether I celebrate or whether I don't, you know what I mean? Like, it ain't there. Listen, I was celebrating after the game, you know, and I'm buzzing for Sunday. I don't know how everybody's feeling who's ever watching now. I am buzzing for Sunday. I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be a great game, and I'm, you know, if Harry Kane hadn't come to the front for like he has, we wouldn't be in it, like, you know. So he hasn't been the best player, but he's, you know, goals. And that goal against, was it Germany? Wasn't an easy chance, you know. Like, everybody going, oh, it's an easy header. That was a difficult header. Like, he could have easily missed that. So, but listen, you know, I get lots of people saying I don't, you know, I get lots of Spurs fans, right, coming on, having a go at me and like, you know, bring it on. You know what I mean? I can handle it. But I turned around to him, and one of my mates brought this up, and he said, "Lee, you're right, I never celebrated Sol Campbell." And I tell you what, like, it's easier for Spurs fans to say, "Oh yeah, we cheer on Sol Campbell because he's a centre half that hardly scores." Yeah. But I know that there are Spurs fans that would not celebrate a Sol Campbell goal. And there's no difference. Don't turn around and say to me, "Oh, that's because he's done the dirty on Arsenal." It's your club, your country thing. They turn around, forget club, forget country. Well, I'll tell you, like, you know, it might be hurtful that he went and signed for Arsenal, that, but it's hurtful Harry Kane scoring goals against Arsenal and ruining my day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
but he'd be making your year if he wins the Euros for us.
Listen. Be fantastic, but if you turn around to me and said, right, you know, Arsenal, England, for Arsenal to win the FA Cup next year, England have got to lose on Sunday. I would want Arsenal to win the FA Cup. You know what I mean? It's club every time. You know what I mean? Like, so as big as, you know, as massive as it is, you know what I mean? Arsenal will always be first. You know what I mean? Like, you know, I will never. Arsenal's trophies would be more important to me than anything. Like, you know. Yeah. But for me, you know, I've gone through a lot more heartaches of England than you have. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, to get to the finals, unreal. Like, I've gone to England games, you know what I mean? Like, I've been lucky enough, got invited over to like when England played Wales in France. Was able to go and watch that game, you know what I mean? And that was fantastic. And I've watched a few England games, England-Scotland, when we beat 3-0 in the qualifiers a little while ago. Fantastic atmospheres and whatever. But, you know, and I love that side of it, what you know, England and all that. But ultimately, you know, do you know, like, how I can explain? You know, when it went to extra time on Wednesday night. Yeah. If that was Arsenal in the semi-final, I've been walking up and down, nervous as anything. I'm chilled out when it's England. What will be, you know what I mean? If England win it, fantastic, you know what I mean? It's great. But it ain't like that same passion with me as it is for Arsenal, you know what I mean? So
yeah, I hear you. So I reckon we've got like at least a semi kind of little agreement there that
we've got a semi-agreement now. We'll leave it at that.
Yeah, semi-agreement. The equaliser or winner, there'll be a little cheer from
Listen,
you.
I can tell you this now, right? And as we're sitting here, if it goes to penalties and Harry Kane's stepping up for a penalty, and if he misses, we don't win the Euros, for instance, like that, you know, and he bangs it in, I'll guarantee I'll be cheering because I don't want us to lose it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you know, so and you know, my hate for Harry Kane is not for what he does for England or whatever, like, and I don't hate Harry Kane. You know what I mean? It's just that he's, you know, it's because he's a good footballer and all that. But
yeah.
I wouldn't be going, right, come on, Harry, miss this so that it cocks up and makes him like that. I will want Harry Kane to step up and smash that in. Like,
great stuff. Well, listen, I think I've done a national service right there. I'm sure everyone will be pleased to hear that. And, you know, hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll get to see that and bring it home. So, yeah, I just want to say thanks for coming on, Lee. If there's anything you want to,
really enjoyed it. Like, you know what I mean? Thanks very much. Really enjoyed it.
No worries. Is there anything you want to plug or, like, advertise? Go for it.
Just listen, I'm just like Lee Judges TV. If you just want to, if you're not subscribed to it, just subscribe to it. It's got loads of different content coming out. It's not just going to be football based. There's going to be other things all on there. Yeah, so just check that out and subscribe, and your support will be fantastic. You know, and it's not just going to be Arsenal content. We'll have all sorts of football related stuff with different teams and everything like that. All different sports as well, like, so all there for you, like, yeah.
Great stuff. Great. All right. Well, cheers, Lee.
No worries.
Thank you.